Hello. So, let's talk a little bit about the future. So what do I mean by the future? Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the future, so I thought I'll narrow this discussion or this monologue of mine down to reasons why I believe that this programming is probably the best bet for job stability going forward, and it's probably the type of job that is going to be around for the longest before humans become pretty much completely obsolete. Now, right now, you and me and everybody else who is going to work every day, we are in society is always in a transition, if you will, but we are in one of the first, most interesting transitions ever to happen in human history. The transition I'm talking about is that right now our society is trying to normalize the digital world, or rather normalize the interaction that you have with machines and the value that they provide to your life. What do I mean by that? Well, in essence, all of history, most of our interaction in our daily life have been based on human interaction in some way, and most of our technologies are based around they provide an assisting role to humans in delivering this type of human-to-human experience. And in essence, we are right now in a position where companies around the globe have realized that you can actually adjust us humans to feel comfortable with interacting with computers and automated systems. And because we are susceptible to this and we accept it, we can actually automate a lot of our industry, or at least optimize it in ways that has never been possible before. And if you think about it, that's kind of how it started with the internet and all that stuff. And this has been going on for quite a while now, and we realized that, hey, people actually feel comfortable using a computer to make purchases. They feel comfortable using a computer or they trust the computer to do the job that it's been assigned to do. That's what my job is. My job is to create programs, in essence, that you will trust enough to interact with. Now, this was not the case when they first came about. And in essence, we needed a transition period or rather the technology at least needed to get to a point where it was normalized. Because as soon as you normalize something, it becomes, whether you like it or not, you don't need everybody to be on board. You simply need it to be accepted as a part of society. The gay community, or the homosexual, the trans, I don't know what the political correct term for that community is, but the homosexuals have had the exact same journey. They have been in a situation where, by introducing little by little these subtle elements into everyday media and everyday life, they have become an accepted part of the community in a way that they weren't before. And technology is having that exact same battle now. Now, how does this tie into what I'm saying? It ties in the way that right now we are getting comfortable with having machines and even like computers taking a greater role in our lives. So here in Sweden, I'll give you just one example that I think is really interesting, which is that like the health industry, or the healthcare system here, the public health system has an enormous queue system where you can actually quite literally wait for months to get to see the doctor. And a few companies here are trying to we have a few companies who are putting an app onto the Google Store and so forth, the Play Store, where you can actually see your doctor from your phone and get prescriptions and all that good stuff. And you see that the adoption rate is highest in the younger generations. And I argue that this adoption rate is is an indicator of where we're going. This is a sensitive thing, and a lot of people I've talked to are in this industry have been saying that their greatest challenge is to get people to feel comfortable going to the doctor on their phone, because it's such a you had this very established dynamic where you would go and see your doctor because it feels the most comfortable to you. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are other examples of this that are even more interesting. My favorite one is Amazon's drone initiative, and I think honestly that is the thing that's going to be one of the cornerstones in how the next generation is going to think about automation and think about computers and software and robots and so forth. I think that's probably I'm pretty sure that drones are the first hump in integrating automated robots into our everyday life. I think that that's the big one. There's a lot of controversy around drones, but if Amazon's initiative and the other companies who are using this as a delivery system, if they can push this all the way through, I think they will play a key part in bringing computers and robots, in essence, into everyday life for us humans. And it is a political battle. The benefits are there. It's just about making sure that you and me, we regular people, feel comfortable having them around. I mean, you don't care if your neighbor walks his dog or his cat. Why should you? The only reason you care that there's a drone flying around is because it's new and potentially it's monitoring you or whatever. And that's, if you ask yourself really honestly, what the issue is there, I think it's you know that it's more about emotions and being a little bit uncomfortable with that concept, rather than there being a really big threat of drones to your everyday life. That's anyway what I'm trying to say. So the point I'm making here is that when you see these automation initiatives, you see that the efficiency of industry and everyday tasks, it's going up. And the reason why I think that programmers, and not just programmers, but the next generation of employment, like jobs, or the requirements that you're going to see, is that it's going to shift from the most common thing you can do today is to work in the service industry, like McDonald's or whatever. And I honestly think that you'll see more and more things moving towards you being a pilot of a drone or a maintainer of some type of computer. We might even standardize these things to the point where you quite literally, the requirements to do these jobs is going to be the same type of requirements you need to get a job at McDonald's. Don't know if that's going to happen, but anyway. So the reason why I argue that the safest bet for you, if you want to to teach your kids what they should, if they ask you daddy or mommy, what should I become, and why I argue you should tell them that they should become an engineer or a designer or some type of creative person, or in my case a software developer, is because it is the last thing most likely that is going to be factored out of society through automation. And the reason why I claim this is because these are the people who create the systems that automate away everything else. And if you ever get to a point where the computers themselves can generate code or solutions through AI and so forth, if they can generate the solutions to their own problems, in essence write their own code or do their own research, then humans will truly have been made almost completely redundant. And I'm pretty sure that by the time that happens, the way that we think about jobs will no longer exist.